if it does happen, you owe me $500.
$500?
Yeah.
How about 500 high fives? And we can keep track of them.
If each of those high fives has a dollar bill in it, then yeah, sure.
Tell you what, how about 500 moped rides?
You know what? I will pay you $500 to not do that. Hello and welcome to another edition of Popcorn Bucket List. And on this week's episode, we are Venom. How's that?
That's pretty good.
I was working on that one a little bit.
I liked it.
You are actually in an alien mask. Did you plan that, or did you just grab a random one that fit?
I just grabbed a random one, but the reason I grabbed this one is a little plug for one of the best alien movies of all time, Fire in the Sky. True story about Travis Walton. So check it out. It's really good.
Okay, you gotta take that thing off because your chin keeps hitting it, and I don't. We didn't rehearse this enough for you to do this consistently. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's tape on this too. Like, see how it broke?
Oh.
Yeah, it's an old one. It was from when I was a little kid.
Oh. I did not see it. It was a pretty good tape job. I didn't notice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Congrats to younger Meyerberg. Yeah, so like I said, we're going to be talking a little bit about Venom and a little bit more to the extension the Sonyverse, as it's kind of known
to
be.
The Sonyverse.
Because Spider-Verse is already kind of taken, and MCU is kind of already taken, so now it's just the Sonyverse.
Yeah. Or the VSV?
VSV, the Venom Cinematic.
Venom Cinematic Verse.
Wouldn't that be
VSU?
VCU? Too
close to Law and Order.
Dun dun. We are Venom now. Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna kind of talk a little bit about that. Venom: The Last Stand's coming out here this weekend, so that is gonna essentially be the topic for our opening spotlight. Specifically, we're gonna talk about the future of the Sonyverse, because the thing they keep talking about with this one is it's the final chapter. It's the third in the trilogy. We're gonna end Venom on this one. We're done after this. And the Sonyverse in general with their Spider-Man properties has been very, very hit or miss, to put it mildly. So, but I would say this one has been one of the more consistent ones as far as financially speaking and a little bit critically speaking. So, what is the studio to do after this?
Don't know.
We're gonna try and figure it out. That's what we're gonna do. That's what's gonna happen. But we're gonna talk a little bit about the movie itself here. Talk about some of our predictions. It's time for another edition of what I like to call Guess the Cameo.
Yeah.
I think we did something like this with Deadpool Wolverine, right? I don't know.
And I think we were wrong on all of them. Did you get a couple right, maybe?
And the worst part was there were so many cameos.
There were so many.
And we still missed.
I think they did a great job of, like, keeping that hidden.
Yeah.
Like, besides, like, I know there was one leak, but I don't remember who it was. But it didn't seem, I don't know.
Yeah, no, we literally missed the broadside of the barn on that one. We had a lot of options, and we didn't hit any of them. So
yeah, nothing.
Hopefully we do a little bit better this time around here. But, like I said, the Sonyverse does kind of connect to some of these other Sony movies that are Spider-Man movies, but aren't technically MCU movies, but some of them technically are. Look, it's complicated. I don't know if we have time to explain all of it.
There's a lot going on there.
I'm going to put an image here. All these are considered to be Sonyverse movies.
Perfect.
Some of them look like MCU movies because they technically are. Some of them technically aren't, but now they also technically are. It's complicated. It's complicated.
It's a mess.
Here we go. Yeah, and that is going to be, I think, part of the issue here is how do they move forward? Can they move forward without Venom?
You have to.
Yeah, you have to. You have to, yes. But how do you think?
Because what other big, I would say, tentpole characters do they have besides
that has succeeded? I don't think any.
I would just say any. Well, I wouldn't say Morbius is he's not a big tentpole character. I would say Venom was your number 2 character behind Spider-Man. Who's your third character?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah. Well, maybe they got a card hidden under their sleeve here. I don't know. But let's talk a little bit about this Venom 3 movie here. We've noticed there are a few actors in this one that have been in other Sony projects and other Marvel projects. So that makes it even more confusing already.
Mm-hmm.
But do we think there's going to be someone showing up here that is going to be a surprise? Do we think there's going to be a cameo, whether it's a pre-existing character, or do you think there's going to be one they're going to set up here?
You know, so you want me to give you my guesses?
Yeah. Give me your guess.
So my guess is this is kind of out on a limb, because obviously it's kind of a separate universe thing, but they share each other kind of, and they're kind of not. I wouldn't be surprised if a character like Agatha showed up, because it's still that multiverse kind of thing, Doctor Strangey kind of thing. But I mean, how many movies does Benedict Cumberbatch have left?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because if he appears in here, does this count towards those things?
That used to be something we kept track of a lot better, but I feel like now it's almost like, look, they're just, at this point, they know they're going to get the paycheck. They know the check's going to clear. We'll just keep showing up as long as you guys want
as long
us
as
to.
you keep, yeah.
And plus, the universe has expanded so much, I think they're almost like, look, we'll take whatever role we can get as long as we can kind of stay relevant in this universe.
Yeah, what if there's a, because I guess Robert Downey Jr. knew he was Dr. Doom for a while.
Yeah.
So what if maybe there's a Dr. Doom, and it's not even RDJ, it's just a reference or a logo or something in the background.
One of the aliens lands in Latveria or something like that. Dr. Doom's home or something. Yeah. But you're kind of leaning something, so you're leaning towards something mystical, something witchy.
And like my number one guess was Doctor Strange, because the whole multiverse stuff, it kind of tunnels with him. Like he was kind of one of the guys that I shouldn't say started it, but like really like, hey, we can go do this, we can go do this, we can go here, we can go there, we can join this movie, we can be in that movie. And then obviously Wolverine and Deadpool is just funny, and you know, but like for the more like actual, like this could be a vein that they travel down, I could see it going that way. And especially maybe it was supposed to be like a King the Conqueror kind of thing. And then with that whole situation, it was like, never mind, we're not going to put that, you know?
Yeah, I could see either that, or I could see a Doom thing where it is like he wants to collect one of the symbiotes and experiment on him. Yeah. Because Dr. Doom is very scientific, but he dabbles in mystical stuff as well. Yeah. He's a little bit of those best of both worlds kind of thing. And so I could see him being like, oh, well, here's something I could use to take over the world. Let me just kind of test that a little bit.
See what it is, yeah.
But, I think that's a good pick. Mine, I went a little bit more on the funny route, because Venom, they try to be more funny in these movies. They try to be a little bit more humorous.
They do try to be a little more.
Here's what I want. I want an end credit scene of the Vulture literally doing the exact same lines he did at the end of Morbius, but this time he's saying it to Venom. I'm saying word for word.
Shot for shot.
Shot for shot. He just flies up and says, not sure what I'm doing here. I think it has something to do with Spider-Man. I think a couple of us should team up, do some good. And then Venom's just like, we are in.
That would be actually really...
Like literally shot for
that.
shot.
That would be so funny.
You don't even have to have Michael Keaton comment, or even better yet, take the shots Michael Keaton originally did in Morbius, because they clearly reshot that end credit scene, and then just have him do that to be in Venom. Yeah. Just do the same thing at the end.
I think that would actually be really funny, and it would be like, that would be as good as the Ryan Reynolds reading the script to Green Lantern, and then he shoots her in the back of the head. Yeah. So funny. Yeah. Like that would be...
At this point, that's what you're doing with Venom, is you're trying to make him this. I'm honestly surprised Venom hasn't broke the fourth wall yet. Yeah. It just feels like that's something they want to do, but it's because he hasn't really done that in the comics. They feel like they can't. Yeah. So I don't know.
And like, I feel if you're Marvel, you want Tom Hardy's a big name. He's a big actor. You want to try and get him into your avenue, don't you? Or your stuff. Like, he already is an established character in a separate cinematic universe, and you're sharing stuff. Why not try to share him? Mm-hmm. You know, that's to me, that seems like a good...
Kevin Feige's just coming up to Sony like, hey, we let you play with our Spider-Man action figures for a little bit. Can I borrow your Venom action figure for like a movie or so here? Yeah. Just play with him for a little bit. I don't know. I just feel like these movies don't take themselves very seriously. So at this point, that would be the best way to end it in a finale, is be like just Vulture coming in and doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
that he did with Morbius.
That would be really fun.
Even if I think it'd even be funnier if he's like, yeah, I tried it with this vampire guy. He wasn't real fun to hang out with, so I'm going to try it with you.
He just kept saying it's Morbin time.
I needed more teeth. All right. So, yeah, yours is a little bit more serious. Yours, I actually could see something like that happening, whether it's specifically Agatha Harkness or some character like that.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. Mine, if it does happen, you owe me $500.
$500?
Yeah.
How about 500 high fives? And we can keep track of them.
If each of those high fives has a dollar bill in it, then yeah, sure.
Tell you what, how about 500 moped rides?
Yeah, you know what? I will pay you $500 to not do that. I don't know. All I'm saying is, if it happens, I'm jumping out of the theater. I'm yelling at everyone, saying, "I called it!"
All right.
All right. So, like we kind of alluded to before, though, the Sonyverse. What's next after Venom? All right, they're saying this is the third one, so we're assuming they're actually going to stick with this.
Yep.
Because Joker.
They're saying it's the final one
because Joker was only supposed to get one movie. But
yeah.
Whatever. This is supposedly the final chapter. So
it's the last dance.
It's the last dance. It's
the last
X-Men
hurrah.
The Last Stand was the last X-Men movie that ever came out ever. So we were going to hold them to their word on this one. So the question becomes, what's next? So I'm going to take Venom out of the equation. We're going to say, as far as a feature-length movie, now cameo showing up at the end of something like that, that's on the table. But I'm going to open up to, is there a sequel to a previous project or a totally new thing or character that they can introduce and kind of put them on a profitable and exciting and entertaining future? That's our goal. That is our goal. Is we want to make money. We need to make money at the end of the day, but we also want people to be entertained.
Yeah.
Is there one you have? I got one ready to go if you need a little time to think about it.
What's yours? Yeah.
Okay, so mine is sort of going to be built off of something that is soon to be established, I should say. In the near future, a Kraven the Hunter solo movie will come out. I'll admit the first trailer did not intrigue me. Second one looked better. I'm a little bit more excited about this movie than I was before.
When is that, like next year?
I think that's December.
December? Okay.
I think that's in a couple months from now.
Okay.
So we might be talking about this again here.
Yeah.
To be honest. I'm surprised you don't remember Kraven. It's got your boy Russell Crowe in it. He's in this one.
Yeah.
You'll watch the trailer. Yeah. Okay, so Kraven the Hunter, that's going to be established here. I want to see a Chameleon movie come out shortly after this. Chameleon was one of Spider-Man's earliest villains, so you have that little bit of a tie to a Spider-Man thing. But he's either the brother or half-brother to Kraven. It depends on the storyline, I guess. So you connect it to Kraven. Also, he's basically this like master of disguise kind of Russian assassin that kind of goes through New York doing his own thing. So you could really kind of do like a John Wick-esque style movie with this.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Where he is sort of like this Russian assassin and he keeps like ducking under behind, and you have that shot where he goes behind a pillar and he comes out a different person because he has some sort of like technology that disguises him or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's trying to track down their father because he thinks his father's done him wrong. And then that connects him to Kraven a little bit as well. And I think this is a good villain to maybe establish a new Spider-Man or maybe re-establish to a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you can connect it to the Andrew Garfield. Be like, oh, yeah, shortly after Lizard, I fought this guy. He was a pain in the butt. Still can't find him.
Or maybe even back to
you can connect him to Maguire. You can connect him to anyone if you want. Because he's a little bit older character and he's one of Spider-Man's earliest villains. So you could literally say, like, oh, in between these two movies, I tried catching this guy. I still couldn't catch him.
Yeah.
So you can establish something later on as well. And you connect him to Kraven. And you kind of make it this sort of spy assassin-y movie. Because I feel like the problem with all these other Sony projects is they've been trying to do too much like Spider-Man. Or they've all been trying to do essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
You need to go darker on them. You have these really creepy You had Venom as PG-13 biting heads off in the smoke. You had Morbius the vampire in PG-13.
Yeah.
You have these violent villains that can be intriguing, but you have to go dark with them.
You do.
If you want to, you can establish them and just not have Spider-Man, and then you give yourself that out of going R. Now, obviously, if you're going to connect Spider-Man, you'll have to put it at PG-13, but make them interesting.
Yeah, no,
Separate them from this.
I like that. I think that's a great idea.
Plus, I think John Wick's really big right now, and everyone's trying to imitate that. So I think the only way you can imitate it is by putting it in a comic book world.
Yeah,
do a little something different with it. How about you? What's maybe a potential future project or an idea, or just a character you think can kind of take the place of Venom here? And it can be a Spider-Man character too. I don't know if I said that before.
Yeah. So it's hard for me because I don't fully understand the, who has the right for what characters. Because I've always thought if they could redo or just somehow tie in Ghost Rider to something, because my son's got the DS and it's like Marvel Ultimate Alliance or something, and Ghost Rider's on there, and it's awesome to play as. And I like Nicolas Cage, so they were fun. And I think that would be another character, but I don't know. I don't know if Marvel owns who has the okay for them.
I think that one was Fox, so now Marvel would technically have him, but. Yeah. I mean, you could still throw in a lot of the dark arts stuff.
Yeah.
And that some of those Spider-Man villains do deal with.
One I've always thought about too was, what if we got a movie years down the road where Harry was the Green Goblin now, and how Spider-Man's older. I mean, obviously you go back to Tobey Maguire, but it's older. They were friends for however long. Or did he die at the end?
I was going to say he did, but Harry did turn into a Green Goblin in the Garfield one as well. And they didn't land on such easy terms. So you still could do that with the Garfield one.
Yeah.
I think. But
oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget because they didn't turn him into the Green Goblin until 20 minutes left in the movie. But
yeah. Yeah, but a full-blown, he's been the Green Goblin for a while. Mm-hmm. Kind of like how... the Batman, the one not the one that just came out, but Batman vs. Superman, Ben Affleck's Batman, the Joker had been around for a while and already killed Robin.
Yeah.
There's a ton there, but that's what I would like to see with the new, him as Green Goblin and back to Spider-Man. Does he have a wife now? Does he have kids? How'd the Mary Jane situation work out? And they kind of not alluded to it, but in Spider-Man No Way Home, they kind of talked to you as oh yeah.
That was going to be my next point is he even says oh yeah, I lost, when they're talking about their losses, I lost my Gwen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to forgive myself of that. One of the reasons why Green Goblin has always been one of his greatest enemies, Spider-Man's I should say, is because in the comics he killed Gwen. Yeah. Well, here you have specifically Harry, his best friend, someone he had this history with, kills one of the people who he loved the most, killed the other person he loved the most.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
How do you face off? How do you forgive? Then it becomes, okay, he says, I'll never be able to forgive myself. Is it in reality he has to forgive Harry? How do you do that? Can Harry forgive himself? Is he dealing with this? Does he come to a conclusion? No, I think that would be a really great idea. Everyone keeps talking about, we want to see Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, face Venom. I'm I don't really know if you all do, because you want to see Andrew Garfield in another Spider-Man movie because Andrew Garfield is awesome.
Yeah.
But everything they established in that movie was either rushed or just packaged terribly, except for maybe that Goblin stuff, which they did do pretty well. Just it was rushed.
Yeah.
So I would agree. And yeah, let's throw in Ghost Rider. Why not?
Go. I think if
I would love to see a good Ghost Rider.
If you could do an R Ghost Rider, that would be
kidding me.
Pretty cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be so cool. We got to make that happen. All right, Hollywood, we're throwing the ideas for you for free.
They just made Deadpool was R.
Yeah,
and that was part of the whole thing.
That was the craziest part about Venom is people were like, "Oh, why aren't you making Venom PG-13?" Well, R-rated movies don't make money. The year before, Logan came out.
Yeah, crushed
and made money.
Yeah,
and was amazing.
People, and I also think from 10 years ago till now, you can get away with so much more in a PG-13 movie. But even R-rated movies, as long as there's not sexual content, parents usually, swearing, whatever. Kids watch the news. It takes a lot more to phase somebody. I don't know. And maybe that's not a good thing, but
that's more of a commentary on our society. Yeah. But I hear what you're saying. I definitely do. But I mean, you have an alien parasite whose whole thing since the beginning was eating people, and then you made that movie PG-13.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Yeah, give us an R-rated. While we're at it, give us an R-rated Spider-Man where he's cussing out Goblin and they're fighting each other tooth and bone.
It'd be sweet.
Oh, come on, Hollywood. Let us do that. Come on, we'll make it for you. Just give us the money.
I
send us the check.
Yeah,
we'll
send us
figure
the
it out.
check. We'll get it all squared
We'll
away.
figure it out for you. Anyways, this one may be the most difficult one for me here. The number 6 seed, Footloose, versus the number 11 seed, Karate Kid. Who's voting Footloose? Who's voting Karate Kid? I thought I was going to have to fight for that one.
Nope.
I thought for sure I was going to have to fight for that one. I had like a whole argument ready to go.
Sorry,
He just
Karate
crane
Kid.
kicked Footloose out of here. No more dancing. I'm going to get heat from my mom on that one. All right, so yeah, that's a little bit of a preview to Sony as Sonyverse, Venom, and everything like that here. So yeah, let's just kind of move right into the weekly preview here and just kind of talk a little bit more about Venom. Venom: The Last Dance, like we said before, supposedly going to be the final chapter, but like I said before, Joker was definitely going to be a solo movie.
Yeah.
So I'll believe that when I see it. Yeah, this one deals a little bit more alien invasion-y. Also, kind of a spoiler, introduces a very interesting villain, a little bit of a newer one. I can never remember how to pronounce it. It's Null or Knull.
Null.
It's just an alien with long hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of those aliens.
Yeah, it was more
Okay.
aliens. More aliens.
A lot of aliens.
That's whenever we need to do a third act, throw more aliens at it. That's what we do. I don't know. They keep playing this up. Is it going to be the last one? It's going to be the last hurrah for Eddie and Venom. Do we think it's actually going to be that?
I think maybe their main story, but I could see them coming back as cameos or little maybe like a team up thing where he is either the bad guy or they ask him to join late or something. I could see like a Madam Web type of scenario where something's happening and there's Venom for 20 minutes of the movie.
You know
back
what?
out.
I resend my previous cameo. Take away the Vulture and put in Dakota Johnson's Madam Web, but she's still saying the exact same lines.
Yeah.
She's coming in on her hover wheelchair.
Yeah.
And she approaches Venom and she goes, "Not really sure what I'm doing here." It has something to do with Spider-Man, I think.
That would be awesome.
I rescind my previous pitch. I want Madam Web in this.
that would be top tier.
Oh God, I would love that. I would love that. I know it's too late, but Sony, can we make that happen? Give us the check. We'll shoot it for you. I think this one's gonna have a little bit more action. We get to see Venom Horse. That's been a large part of the marketing.
Yeah.
Does the horse really run faster than Venom can just run?
4 legs, 2 legs.
Okay, I guess.
I don't know.
That was just my thing is like, okay, because he even goes like, how fast can you make that thing run without killing it? I'm like, okay, if there's a threat of killing it, should we just not? It's not like he was moving slow in the Venom thing before.
Yeah.
But whatever. It looks cool. It looks fun. He's traveling a little bit more. We're going to get out of San Francisco this time.
That's good.
Which,
A lot of people are getting out of there right now.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a shame. I've always kind of wanted to visit San Francisco. So what you're saying is actually if I go visit San Francisco now, there's going to be less lines.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Bye, Nick. No, I'm just kidding. Later we'll do that. All right. What else do we have to say about how do we feel about the other ones before this?
Okay. Very okay. I like I said, I really like Woody Harrelson, but
I think this series' biggest crime was killing off that character.
yeah, he's an awesome character.
He's been my favorite part of this franchise.
If these could have been our movies and just a little darker, maybe a little edgier, I think they would have been massive hits.
Well, they already were.
They
made that was okay. So I mentioned the Logan thing before, and everyone was like, you should have made rated R. Like Logan made a lot of money, and then this one went out and made $1 billion. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess I don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's all random, whatever. So I agree with you. I think these should be rated R. I'm in the minority a little bit. I don't really particularly enjoy these first two.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson's Carnage was great.
But I felt underutilized.
Yes. Especially considering how he's
Awesome, Woody Harrelson.
he's awesome, but I'm saying he's probably not going to show up in this one here. Unless
no.
that's the cameo. All right, I rescind it one more time. That's going to be the cameo.
Bring back Carnage. That'd be
Yeah, but this time he's going to be flying in being like, not sure what I'm doing here. It has something to do with Spider-Man, I think.
And I was always a little confused as when Spider-Man, like Eddie landed at that sushi bar or whatever.
That tiki bar or something
Tiki
like
bar, and then he like talked for a little bit and drank, and then the guy's like, what? And then he just
that. So that's going to be one of the
disappeared.
questions too, is in the trailer we see... Okay, so yeah, this is where it gets really, really confusing. So we have a guy who played Mordo in the MCU.
Yep.
He's now playing an army guy in this universe, but he's clearly capturing a piece of symbiote from the MCU. That scene took place in the MCU. We know this.
Okay.
So how is he there? Or why is he there? Because that is a different universe.
Yeah. I don't know, but I bet Spider-Man had something to do with it.
We're going to sound like J. Jonah Jameson at the end of this. Everything is Spider-Man's fault. I need pictures of Spider-Man. That's my J. Jonah. It's not as good as my Venom impression. I'll give you that. But
That's pretty good.
I'll work on it. I don't know. This one is going to be a big hit again.
Yep.
I think that's for sure. I think a lot of people are going to go to it. And yeah, I'm curious to see what if they set up anything.
See what happens.
Yeah. Anything else we want to say about this one before we move on?
I think I'm good.
All right. Let's move on to then to Conclave, also coming straight to theaters here. This one rated PG. This is a religious thriller, and to my knowledge is not based off of a true story, but is based off of real things we do experience every once in a while, the choosing of a new pope.
Yeah.
Now, more often than not, the pope, that's a lifetime position. You stay until you pass. Yeah, I was going to use a much, not dark word, but probably a little bit more insensitive word, so thank you for that one. I was going to say until they croak, but
Whoa!
that's kind of me talking about one of the biggest religious people out there. Yeah, so they stay until they pass, and then a whole sort of ceremony takes place. New pope is chosen.
Yep.
I think the only time it wasn't that was that one before the one we have now, right? Like he was like the only one who resigned, I think.
Oh, could have been. I don't know.
I think he's like the only one who's ever resigned.
I'm not.
Every other has either been like kicked out or like has died.
Yeah.
During it or something like that. So, yeah, this is something we know happens every once in a while. This one, maybe there's some more layers to it though.
I'm super excited for this because I love most of the cast. I think the acting is going to be phenomenal. And there's they have that scene, the scene in the trailer where like the building is crashing. And
it turns into an action movie real quick.
So it's like, is this like going to be like some sort of dream sequence and like this unforeseen guy that's there is like, what is happening? Like, I'm really excited for this movie.
Yeah, I will say that the trailer did add quite a bit of mystery.
Yeah.
And that intrigued me as well. You mentioned the cast. This movie stars Ralph Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, and John Lithgow as Cardinals. Ralph Fiennes' character, he essentially has to be the one who runs the selection process here, so to speak. But maybe there's a conspiracy involved here.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
part of the
pumped.
mystery.
I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I didn't hear a lot about this one leading up to it, so not a lot of marketing, but does look pretty interesting. So, also coming out here this weekend, Don't Move, coming straight to Netflix. This one's rated R. A woman alone in the forest must find help after a serial killer injects her with something that will completely paralyze her in about 20 minutes. The drug essentially works in stages, so it'll break down one part of the body, and then a couple minutes later, another part of the body. So it adds drama. This is a screenwriter's dream, I would say, of a movie.
Yeah.
It stars Kelsey Absol, who many people may recognize from the TV show Yellowstone, but now kind of leading lady in this one here. She looks pretty good in this.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. The whole concept, and I believe this is Sam Raimi, right?
Produced by Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
produced.
like I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be an interesting take on your classic stalking and killing serial killer movie.
Yeah, and I will say the one concern I had for this was the fact that it's like, oh, this paralytic drug takes about 20 minutes. That's going to be such a small part of the runtime. How are you going to fill the gaps? I think I read the total runtime is only going to be about 85 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
it's a little
include
shorter.
credits.
Yeah.
That's only like an hour 10.
Yeah.
That makes me feel a little bit better about them filling in the gaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
And I think some of it is obviously before.
Yes.
And I think some of it is after when
Yes.
she's completely paralyzed. So, like, realistically, you put 20 minutes in before, 20 minutes of the actual drug taking effect, and 20 minutes after. That's almost your entire movie right there.
10 minutes of her beating the guys, telling her story, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I think this is going to be a good one too. I hope this one does well. But also coming out to Netflix here, The Remarkable Life of Ibelin. This one is a documentary rated PG-13. Is about a kid over across seas named Mats Steen, who unfortunately died of a muscle disorder at the young age of 25. Now, his parents kind of knew this for a while, so they were always kind of like, well, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to experience life to the fullest.
Mm-hmm.
After he passed away, however, his parents found out, well, no, it actually turns out he was finding his own outlet as they
Yeah.
were getting more and more messages from people who seemed to be complete strangers. However, turns out he had been living a separate life on World of Warcraft, the online
Video game.
that
Wow.
some people call it WoW. It turns out he had created a character there, and he had interacted, and he had the thing about World of Warcraft is it is a constantly running game where you can interact with people live in person.
Yep.
It is essentially a virtual world where you can have experiences and conversations, and he essentially kind of I guess you want to call it going out on a date with
With a girl, yeah.
with a girl and everything like that. I will say this is a very heartfult story.
Yeah.
More often than not, that is not the case here
Yes.
on these type of
Yes.
games. I want to say that as a disclaimer.
Yeah.
Don't if someone comes up to you, don't always believe this. This is just the outlier. All right.
Yep.
This is the
There
good
are
story.
outliers. Yep.
This is the good story.
Yep.
This is 9 out of 10 times though. This just happened to be the 10th.
Yep.
And we're glad it happened because
Yeah.
he was able to have a little bit more of a full life than his parents thought he was going to be able
Yep.
to. So
And going from, what was I going to say? This movie is PG-13, and the new Venom is PG-13. You can get by.
and the only one that's rated R is the Don't Move one.
Yeah.
Not the conspiracy theory in the Catholic Church, not the alien invasion one,
Yeah.
and not the online. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would not
Just
have
wild.
Would not have called that. I
No.
thought that was weird too.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So like I said, very heartfelt documentary here, but again, don't believe everything you see on the internet, kids.
Yeah.
I feel
Accept
like
what we say.
Yeah,
Believe
we're-
everything we say
we're
to
good.
the T.
we're good. Yeah.
Yep.
Until this guy says Lord of the Rings is the best trilogy out there, then you don't.
It's facts. It's facts.
It's not.
Facts.
Anyways, let's just move on then into some number one recommends. I think you're first this week,
Oh, hands down.
and I already know where this is going.
Hands down, Terrifier 3. If you have the opportunity, go watch it. If you love old, campy, slasher, bloody, disgusting, gruesome violence, go watch it. It's so good. I absolutely loved it. Yeah, I've seen the other ones. This one's by far the most amount of money that they put in. Obviously, the story's lacking, but as it is with a lot of films like this, but everything they do is practical. I love practical things, even if it does look a little more cheesy, a little more campy. I love the practical effects. When we watched it, there's times where you getting hit with a hammer or something. It's like, oh, that would hurt. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's so good. Go watch it if you like Halloween, if you like the spooky, if you like the scary, the old Friday the 13th, Freddy vs. Jason, any of those things, go check it out. You won't be disappointed.
So nothing you said was wrong.
Correct.
Or yeah. I want to state just for clarification. Yes, I did go see this with you.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 100% by choice? Well, kind of. I happened to be at the theater watching something else, which I'll talk about here in just a sec. And you were like, hey, we're doing this. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're just doing this. So, yes, it is one of the most violent, bloody things I think I've ever seen.
You got to get out more.
Yes, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm still recovering, man. I'm still recovering, man. There's some images I don't like.
I found myself explaining it to somebody, some of the life ending scenes, and it was like, wow, that's actually pretty wild. Like when you take a step back and look at it, it's like, holy cannoli. Yeah, I loved it, but I've always been and always have been. I love practical effects. I will
give you that.
And
that
some
is not
of them,
something I appreciated enough because I was watching the movie like this.
And some of them are, you can obviously tell, like some movies do them really well. This one, I think they maybe went down like quality on a few of the kills to add in 15 more kills, which makes sense because I really enjoyed it. Loved it.
So, like I mentioned before, I had seen a movie right before this. I've always wanted to do a double feature at a movie theater where I watch one movie and almost immediately go into the next one. I never, ever thought it would be this combo. Yep. I watched Goodrich.
Ooh.
Very heartfelt, very slow, movie, very down-to-earth movie.
MCU confirmed?
No.
No, okay.
No,
Sonyverse confirmed?
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, if the Vulture starts stealing art, then we're onto something there. I don't. It's a fine movie. The performances are pretty good. We kind of talked about maybe the reason why this movie was coming out is maybe to get an early jump on award season. Will this movie win any awards? Probably not. Can these actors hold their hat on a pretty fine movie? Sure. Is this the best movie to watch right before Terrifier? Only so that your palate is sort of clean and you feel a little good about yourself before going into it. You get to see some of the best of humanity before you get to see some of the worst of humanity. So I would definitely not recommend that to be a double feature, but both fine movies if you want to do scary stuff for Halloween or if you just want something else. Both good options.
There you go.
The worst part about Terrifier 3 was the fact that I volunteered to go and shut down all the lights afterwards.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dark corners on that upstairs.
There is a lot of dark corners up there.
That was not a good call on my part. Anyways, that is going to do it for us here on this episode of Popcorn Bucket List. A lot of housekeeping items here. Another reminder, check out our display at the Marshall-Lyon County Library for scary movie recommendations. Another season of The Blueprint, another show I'm kind of producing here, is live and ongoing on a new channel. I'll put the link below here in the YouTube video. We got some really fun ideas and some really good interviews coming up here. You definitely want to check those out. And finally, the SMSU Theater Department has got a new show to look forward to. Head on over to their social media channel on Facebook for more information. That'll be not this week, but the next week. For myself, Ryan, and Carter up there in the booth, we'd like to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the movies.